What's up, everybody? So today I'm taking it back to the basics. I'm going to teach you guys how to start your very own 7-figure short-term rental business without owning a single bit of property. It's been my bread and butter over the last 5 years, and I want you guys to learn it today here. For those of you that don't know, my name is Rafa Loza. I've been in short-term rentals for the past 5 years. I've built a 7-figure business using the short-term rental arbitrage model. So let's get into it. How do you start your very own short-term rental business without owning property? Number one, you use the rental arbitrage model. It's what I've been doing for a long time. For those of you out there that don't know what it is, if you've been following the channel, hopefully you know what it is by now. But if you haven't been following the channel and you want to learn more about this, subscribe, like it, share it. But rental arbitrage is basically when we go out and we lease other people's properties, we get them furnished, set up, and then we put them on websites like Airbnb and rent them out short term and make a profit on the difference between the long-term rent and what we charge per night. So we go out as a regular tenant would, we lease out a property for 1 to 3, 4, 5 years, and then we use it as a short-term rental once it's beautifully set up and designed to provide a service to a specific customer. I focus mainly on business people, medical professionals, and families for leisure. I happen to be in a very good location where I get a lot of different travelers for work and I get a lot of different travelers for leisure. Therefore, I get a big pool of customers coming to my location. And I want to really emphasize on this. In order to do this correctly and to build a sustainable business, you need to know how to build right relationships. There's a lot of people out there right now that are going to large apartment complexes and they rent out one unit in a 150 to 300 unit apartment complex. They don't care about what they're doing. They don't tell the management company that they're doing this, and they just furnish it, put a bed in there, maybe a frame on the wall, and then they throw it up on Airbnb and they let anybody in through the door. Man, oh man. And this causes problems. This makes it difficult for a lot of people because now what they're doing is, number one, they're disturbing tenants in their building, and number two, not notifying the management company about this. So when it happens, and it's inevitable, when a guest upsets a neighbor and a neighbor goes and complains to the manager, they're gonna get kicked out. And now the next person who wants to come in and run a good business, they're not gonna get permission to do so because the last operator didn't give the right information and didn't host the right type of customer. The reason I bring this up is because it's crucial to build good relationships and be transparent about what you do when doing this business. Do not go out and lease a property without telling people how you're going to use it. If you're gonna put it on Airbnb, disclose that. Let them know how you use Airbnb. Quick tip, we don't run Airbnb businesses, we run short-term rental businesses. We use Airbnb as a marketing platform similar to how they use Craigslist, similar to how they use Zillow, except Airbnb brings in short-term people and Craigslist and Zillow brings long-term people. Same concept. You gotta educate people and educate owners and investors and management companies how it is that you run your business. Now, the second part of this is how you run a sustainable business. I personally work with mom and pop investors that own anywhere from 1 to a couple hundred doors, and they're willing to lease their property out to me because they know what a good short-term rental operator I am. I explain to them how I take care of their property, the things that we do, how we handle certain situations, the security systems that we use, and again, how well we take care of their property. Remember, the value is that we're gonna be the best tenant that they've ever had because number one, we professionally clean it 5-6 times a month whenever a person checks out. We need to make sure that the place looks beautiful day 500, exactly like day 1, and we're gonna give it back to them the exact same way they gave it to us. They don't have to do any maintenance or cleaning. It's gonna get handed to them ready to lease. So people love that. Investors love that. And most importantly, when you build a good sustainable relationship with the mom and pop investor, they know what you do, you're transparent about it. And as you start to grow and scale, they're going to start offering you different locations every single time. Now, this is very crucial because back to my example where you go and you get one unit in a 150 unit complex and you cause one bad problem and your guest complains, you're gonna get kicked out. But if you go with a mom and pop investor and you take over maybe like a 4-plex or like a duplex and you take both of them, there's no neighbors to complain. So if a short-term rental guest upsets another short-term rental guest, you're the one who deals with it, not the owner or the management company. You get where I'm going with this? The more units you take, the easier it is for you to handle. And again, you're building a sustainable business by building a good relationship. Now, don't get me wrong, you can totally do this in a large apartment complex if you're a good short-term rental investor and a good short-term rental operator. I know a lot of people and a lot of good friends of mine that do this in large apartment complexes. I have a few units in large apartment complexes. I've had other short-term rental operators come into those large apartment complexes, cause problems, they get kicked out, and I'm still inside that building because management has been cool with me because they know how good of an operator I am and they trust that I know what I'm doing. So building relationships to do this is crucial, okay? Now, going back to the beginning, in order to do this right, number one, you need to go out and look at the property and make sure it fits your needs. When you're getting started, you're gonna wanna get your foot in the door right away. You're gonna wanna do this really, really fast. Listen, make sure the property fits your needs, okay? Make sure that the investor or the owner or the management company knows 100% what you're doing. Number 3, make sure you have it in writing. Number 4, make sure that your numbers make sense. If you don't know how your numbers make sense, go back and watch my analyze numbers video for your expenses and your numbers to make sure that everything makes sense. That way you're gonna profit on these units. Super crucial. I provide all the tools here for you to be able to build a sustainable business. Guys, I've been doing this for 5 years. I now have 64 plus properties. 62 are short-term rental arbitrage, where I use other people's property, and it's over a 7-figure a year business. Not a joke. We have the proof. You can see my screenshot here. This is what I've done for this year alone. Now, keep this in mind. Be as good of an operator as you can be. Educate yourself as much as you possibly can. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to teach you everything in order for this to make sense and in order for you to make this a successful business for yourself. I love you all. Share the channel. On the next one.